Hi, I'm Ilana McDonald.
Hi, I'm Mark Dodici.
Hi, I'm Taylor Kutra, and we are the Cosmos from Your Couch team.
As you may have noticed, this June we are celebrating Pride by telling stories of LGBTQ plus people in astronomy.
This week we're featuring our queer colleagues and friends and giving them a chance to talk about their career paths and experiences in the field.
We hope you enjoy this extra special episode, and happy Pride Month. My name is Renee Hlajek. I'm an associate professor at the Dunlap Institute for Astronomy and Astrophysics and the Department of Astronomy and Astrophysics at the University of Toronto. I'm a bisexual scientist, and I study the origins of the universe, how it's changing with time, and how it's going to end.
My name is Bethany Ann Ludwig. I'm a fifth-year PhD student at the Dunlap Institute. I am pansexual. I use she/they pronouns. I study cannibal stars, so how massive stars interact with each other.
I'm Elisa Obertus. I'm a queer woman. I use she/her pronouns, and I'm a PhD candidate in astronomy and astrophysics at the University of Toronto. My research focuses on exoplanets, and I specialize in the orbits of planets and other solar systems, how their gravity tugs on each other, building up over billions of years until planets can crash into each other, and what that means for the hundreds of other solar systems that astronomers have observed to date.
Hi, my name is Annika Slazewski. I am non-binary and queer, and I am a graduate student at the University of Toronto Astronomy Department.
Hello, I'm Leo Alcorn. I'm a postdoc here at the University of Toronto's Department of Astronomy, and I study galaxy clusters and how galaxy clusters affect their member galaxies and how these galaxies evolve and what their physical properties are. I'm also a bisexual woman, and I'm cisgendered, although while I was in undergrad and graduate studies, I did have a period of questioning about that.
Hi, I'm Simran Kaur-Naval, and I am a PhD student at the University of Toronto and the Dunlap Institute for Astronomy and Astrophysics. I identify as queer, bisexual, or omnisexual, and I study inflation, or the exponentially accelerating expansion a fraction of a second after the Big Bang.
Hi, I'm Taylor Hutchison. I am a NASA Postdoctoral Fellow at NASA Goddard Space Flight Center. I am a bisexual woman, and my pronouns are she, her. The research that I focus on primarily is trying to find and characterize some of the most distant galaxies that we've ever observed in the universe. And so this could include, trying to figure out what kind of stars they have, how massive are they, what kind of black holes might live inside of them, and the chemical composition of these galaxies. Do they have mostly hydrogen and helium, or are there a lot more heavier elements and more evolved situation?
Hi, my name is Anna O'Grady, and I'm a final year PhD student at the Dunlap Institute at the University of Toronto, and I'm an ACE and ARROW astronomer, and I study massive star evolution. So I look at populations of huge stars in nearby galaxies and try to understand how they're going to evolve.
Hello, I'm Dr. Ilana McDonald. I'm the outreach coordinator for the Dunlap Institute for Astronomy and Astrophysics, as well as the instructional support administrator for the Department for Astronomy and Astrophysics here at the University of Toronto. I identify as a cis, polyamorous, bisexual woman.
My name is Katie Mack. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm a bisexual woman. I am a theoretical cosmologist. I study the early universe, dark matter, all that kind of stuff. And I'm the Hawking Chair in Cosmology and Science Communication at the Perimeter Institute for Theoretical Physics.
I think what I wish I had been told when I was younger is that telling someone that you're bisexual, that you're queer, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. It doesn't have to be something that you're afraid of. And people can actually judge you on your science without folding in all these worries. Because I was really worried to talk about stuff because I thought it would make me seem less serious or that I was pushing some agenda. You are who you are, and you deserve to be able to be a scientist and yourself.
I've actually had overwhelmingly positive experiences after my undergraduate years when interacting with astronomers, because I've come to learn astronomy is a very queer community.
Try not to stress out too much about the whole being out, not being out thing. It's complicated as a bi person to find a way to bring that up, and it's okay not to, and to just be who you are, and don't don't just constantly being freaked out about your identity. That can be a stressful thing, but just trying to be accepting of yourself, open with other people when appropriate, it's all good.
So one of the realities of being a professional astronomer, pursuing that as a career path, is that you will inevitably have to move, and typically you're going to have to move a fair amount. But there are practical realities for members of the LGBTQ+ community in terms of their safety, their family's safety, and how that is enshrined and coded in legislation. And those things matter. A lot of people take them for granted, but they matter. They matter for your safety, for that of your family. It's okay to prioritize that for making your decisions for how you want to approach your career as a professional astronomer, where you're going to end up in the world, and those decisions.
So, advice I wish I had gotten as an early career young queer scientist definitely would have been just kind of finding and investing in your community. And I mean this as in, your people who are like you, who relate to the same experiences that you have, who are going through similar paths. It really does help to have that, especially queer community around you to support you and uplift you through the trials of trying to become a scientist and doing science. And definitely also, it's not just your local community. It can be, the beauty of the internet is it connects us around the globe. And so your community can include people who aren't local to you.
One of the things that has been really meaningful and important to me throughout graduate school are online LGBTQ+ communities of other professional astronomers, whether they're fellow graduate students, postdocs, professors, just people in all areas of professional astronomy, getting to interact with them, engage with them, and have a pretty tight-knit community.
When I was in graduate school, a number of other students actually came out to us because we were a rather small department and we became a very close group. So we were all very comfortable with each other, and we could be queer and weird and out of this world. I found a lot of community within astronomy. I was part of the American Astronomical Society group called Sigma that was helpful to connect with other queer people in astronomy in the AAS. And just there's been a great community online, especially through Twitter. I've met a lot of other queer astronomers and physicists and people in all sorts of areas of life, and that's been really important to me as well, as to find people online to connect with. For the future, I do hope that there's a greater degree of acceptance and openness and welcoming for people with lots of different identities, not just queer community, but in terms of any aspect of life. I think that is getting better, but that we have a long way to go, and especially like the trans community is under attack in a lot of different ways in a lot of different places right now, and I feel like as a community we should show solidarity and really support people who are gender diverse in any way, and we should really kind of come together as a community, not just within the community of queer astronomers, but the whole community of astronomers. I think we can make it a much more welcoming place.
When I was a graduate student, Professor Renee Hlojek was hired as a professor for the Dunlap Institute. And it was great to see someone who was just so open and out there with who she was as a person, being openly bisexual, and to see someone who was like, I felt like I was, just living their truth. And now I am actually her colleague, and it's really great to work with her. And it makes me hope that I can be like that for someone else who also wants to express who they are to the world.
I think that astronomy is getting more accepting of a lot of different kinds of things, a lot of different lifestyles, a lot of different challenges people might face, or identity things that are important to people. There are still there's still a long way to go. And it's still true that some of these things are hard to talk about because some people don't want to talk about them. But I do think that overall astronomy is becoming a much more accepting place, and it's a lot easier to be open, mostly because there are a lot of people who are open, and it's a lot easier to find them and connect with them and build a community around that.
Happy Pride, everyone.
So happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride Month. Happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride.